Ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with another YouTube video, and today I want to talk about a topic that was trending just a couple days ago. And look, I know I'm kind of late to this whole thing. I didn't want to talk about it initially because honestly I didn't really know if the take was real or just some rage bait, but I still want to talk about it since I am, or at least used to be, a massive PewDiePie fan. It was him, Uberhaxernova, and Tobuscus that kind of, got me through a lot of my, early days of school and stuff like that, back when I used to just go home, eat a fucking Pop-Tart and just put on like a PewDiePie Amnesia Let's Play. Like, that was kind of where it was at, right? So I do want to give my take on Cenat, who recently said some slanderous things to old Pewds here. It's actually not that serious. I'm going to be very, respectful about this whole entire thing, because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure it still might be rage bait. Because, most people who have this kind of take are usually people who are just against PewDiePie and his antics during his more edgier days. But Cenat, as you guys already know, right, I don't really need to explain him. He's a pretty big streamer, right? Like, he's kind of the face of Twitch lately. He does these massive subathons that get millions and millions of people coming in and watching. Most recently, he did this Batman one, which was very well done. I didn't really watch the stream. I'm not the biggest fan of Cenat, but I do watch the clips afterwards because, that's kind of how I enjoy Cenat, is just through his clips. And he's got sick armor on, he's got amazing backdrops. He had this whole entire plot line with Robin, and it was actually pretty funny. One of the biggest things that came out of this whole entire subathon is his take towards PewDiePie. Stero posted this about 5 days ago saying Cenat says he doesn't understand how people watched PewDiePie.
I apologize in advance, but I couldn't see how niggas got into PewDiePie. I'm sorry. Nah, I agree. I feel like I didn't watch him. When I looked into him, I'll be honest. That might be an L take though. You feel me? It be like that sometimes, but everybody's not for everybody, because some niggas might say that about you. Not facts. It be like that. Not for me personally though. I don't know.
So yeah, that's what got a lot of people pissed off, is Cenat basically saying that he personally doesn't like PewDiePie, which is a fine take. I think, not everyone has to enjoy every content creator, right? Like, that's not really how the world works, If that was how the world works, every content creator would have billions of subscribers from everybody. But he can have that take. A lot of people, I think, are more pissed off about him saying, I don't understand how people can, watch PewDiePie or sub to PewDiePie or anything like that, which becomes a question more towards other people who watch PewDiePie. Like, I don't see how you guys enjoy him. I think that take's really weird. That's like me with Cenat. Cenat personally isn't my favorite streamer, but I can see how people may enjoy his streams. Right? I don't judge with that shit. Maybe I'll judge you if you're watching, I don't know, like Rule 34 Roblox Kids YouTubers. That's a little bit different. But with this take, he definitely was kind of like trying to piss people off, I think. And even that little Robin guy, I forget it. I don't know his name, but he's like the funniest dude throughout the entire stream. He even says, well, people could say that about you too, which is also a valid take, right? People could say that too. I know a lot of people who look at Cenat and say, I don't know how anyone enjoys this kind of content. Right? But from the perspective of an old PewDiePie fan, I personally don't really care what Cenat has to say about PewDiePie, and if PewDiePie didn't have an issue with this, who really cares? I watched PewDiePie growing up, and the reason why I watched him, just to give people a little bit of clarity, is because at the time he was kind of a pioneer of horror games. I was really big into horror games because I was around the era of like Slenderman and when horror was really starting to pop off. So of course I naturally got used to watching PewDiePie and his Happy Wheels playthroughs and stuff like that. So I thought he was really energetic. You look back now and you go, yeah, it's a little bit cringe now. I think that's with anything when you look back at stuff, but it was entertaining. He was natural. He was like real, right? And I think that's what a lot of streamers are lacking nowadays, is just the real nature of it, the down-to-earth nature of it. And that was PewDiePie. Like, run down tiny little square space, and that's where he filmed a lot of his videos and stuff like that.
But here's where I record. It's pretty much in my girlfriend's parents' guest room's kitchen. I know a lot of people comment about this freaking sink in the last episode. Like, PewDiePie, are you in the bathroom? No, I'm in a fucking kitchen. But
it just felt more real compared to Cenat, who does these giant, massive streams, right? But at the end of the day, that's his opinion. I think it was kind of goofy to go ahead and say I don't see how other people like him, because I think that is when you open up to actually people going what the fuck, man? That's no longer I guess it's still your opinion, but now you're questioning everyone else's taste in streamers, right? Which again, it could be rage bait, right? That's kind of the big thing nowadays. But it did get a lot of people angry, including MrBeast, where he says, L take, he fundamentally shaped YouTube culture. I miss meme review. Loved watching play random games while I ate dinner every night. Pood's a goat. Which, I mean, there you go. MrBeast is also saying it, and that goes show his influence on YouTube, right? When you have the biggest YouTuber on the platform giving props to PewDiePie, because no matter how you look at it, you can think his content's cringe, you can hate it. He did fundamentally shape how content creators make content, right? Including the streaming platforms and stuff like that, right? He was a pioneer. And I think that's something we can't really ignore. It's like, I know this is kind of a cringe comparison, but it's like the rap game, right? Where you have these new rappers dissing like the OGs, where it's like, yeah, you don't have to like them, but you know, you kind of have to respect the fact that they're kind of the pioneers. They kind of created all this, right? They kind of showed and shaped how content creators, you know, make content now. We have some more comments saying Kai is simply delusional. If he doesn't recognize that PewDiePie is basically a legend compared to him, you might not like Pew's content, but to say that he isn't an icon when it comes to being a YouTuber and content creator, you are simply lost in the sauce. The man is a goat. Okay, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a little bit of rage bait here, but at the same time, I honestly think it was kind of an L take, and it's not even like I have like a PewDiePie boner or anything like that. I don't really watch his content nowadays, but you know, to say that is a little ridiculous, especially when people can kind of reverse it and be like, well, we don't understand how anyone watches your content. Right? Like, I don't even watch Kai Cenat's full streams. I watch his clips, so I don't even know if his full streams are entertaining, right? They could just be him sitting around talking the whole entire time or talking with his friends. I wouldn't know, right? But what I do know is PewDiePie used to make good content, right? It was raw, it was down to earth, and at the end of the day, you can't deny that he did shape YouTube, right? Especially since he was one of the biggest reasons why there was a golden era on YouTube. But anyways, that's all I really want to talk about. If you guys like this video, leave a like, subscribe. Also, if you guys want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description down below. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.